our best kept secret, which is now not a secret anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Cassie, let's do it. It's so good to see you. I know we're chatting a lot over in Denver at Gondola, and now we're here in Cannes, France, so we're just best friends now.
Yeah, of course.
Why don't you probably do a better job than I will, so I'll let you explain your new role at the NFLPA, all the things you do for marketing for players and the NFLPA.
Absolutely. I've been with the NFLPA for 6 years now.
Right.
I started on the digital side.
Feels like 20 years.
Hey, time flies. I started on the digital side and overseeing all of our digital strategy, and a lot of that was focused on showcasing what players are doing, amplifying their stories, their passions, things like that. And I've now switched over to the marketing team on our business side.
Okay.
So not a lot of people know that the business side of the NFLPA is actually our licensing and partnerships business.
Okay.
So anybody who uses 6 or more NFL players has to come through the NFLPA. So it's that group licensing.
So Madden is a friend of your guys.
Exactly. Madden is a long-term friend of us.
Yeah.
And so my job is to help brands work with players and help them have the right fit, the most authentic fit, and things like that.
You may have seen my rants on LinkedIn, but I've been talking a lot about this just in terms of brands invest so much money in athlete partnerships because they want to be a part of the sports culture, and they end up talking at the culture rather than with the culture. And I think nobody understands that better than you, where you've seen brands do it right, you've seen them do it really wrong. But I'd love for you to explain, I guess, just what you advise brands when they come to you and say, listen, we trust you. You know your guys as players. Like, how can we show up authentically in this space?
Yeah, it's a good point because I've seen so many hashtag ad posts where the comment section is just lit up with people saying,
it almost
you don't
does the
actually
opposite
use
effect.
That.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't use that.
Well, I love the celebrities that don't drink alcohol and they have a tequila. You know?
Right. Yeah, so for us, it's really about finding players that fit that brand the best. And I think sometimes brands will come with an idea or they'll come with a budget, as all of them do. And it's our job to really help them leverage that budget to get the right players.
Which, by the way, I feel like it's like an industry best kept secret where I don't think a lot of brands understand that you're essentially acting as a concierge. Come to us. We know our players better than anybody, and we'll like put your money with the best ROI.
Yeah.
They're probably just like, well, I think I want to work with like whoever's on the Patriots, and I'm just gonna like go and like try to find his agent.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's such a ROI positive if they know that you guys exist and you're there for them, right?
Yeah, it's our best kept secret, which is now not a secret anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But we work with players from before they're even in the league, and we start talking to them. We have these conversations at bowl games, before the draft. We're asking them about their passions, what they're interested in.
Yep.
Do you play video games? Do you like fashion? Do you fix cars?
And the actual like business, I guess if you broke down the actual like business of the NFLPA, you guys are doing that because you're accepting dues from the players. So therefore, we want to help you monetize your brand. We want to be an advocate for you. So it truly is like a concierge where it's like, we're here for you because you guys pay into the PA.
Yeah, I mean, there's the union side, which obviously protects their rights on the field, make sure the game is safe. And then there's the business side where we are their business, and it's our job to make sure that they get the best deals possible. They get the most deals.
Yeah.
And unlike agents or other entities, we get paid the same whether or not they're getting a good deal.
Well, you don't have skin in the game where you're going to try to like give them advice that doesn't actually line up directly to their needs, which is super cool.
Yeah. We sit on a whole plethora of that knowledge of players. And so when brands come to us, we can look at actually their audience on social, and we can say, hey, this player's audience is 5 times more likely to have an affinity to home improvement than the average Instagram user.
Yeah.
And we sit on a lot of that data. We use a lot of that data to help create those genuine partnerships.
I'm curious because you've been there for 6 years now. When brands are giving you guys a call, I'm sure, hey, we want them to do this on social has skyrocketed. Where 6 years ago, it's like, hey, we want to do a commercial, we want to do a billboard in Times Square. Have you I guess before I put words in your mouth, walk me through like what that change has looked like in 6 years.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think, as you said, when it first was, we were entering this social media space and brands started entering into these partnerships, it was, hey, can you do a post for me? And now what we're seeing is brands actually wanting to activate with players in a more authentic way. So they're looking at what players are doing and they're saying, oh, you really like fashion, you're doing tunnel walks. Can we you know, collab with you on that? Or, hey, you have a podcast. Can we help sponsor the podcast so that it's more authentic to what the player is doing? And we've almost stepped outside of just a post on social to now we're streaming, we're doing TikToks, you know, we're doing lives, we're building TV shows in a way that's a lot more authentic to the players.
Well, I was talking to my friend Karin on the podcast, who represents a lot of athletes on social, and we were talking about how you've seen this, right? The algorithms are shifting now, discoverability and shareability versus how many followers you have. But she was saying that with athletes in particular, fandom is so obsessed with pulling back the curtain that they're not dealing with that algorithm issue as much as maybe other brands are or other like, you know, personalities are, because like sports fans are so obsessed that those followers are going to like it early. It's going to be pushed to the For You pages of the world.
Right.
So it's almost a better bet for the brand to work with I think an athlete more so than maybe a celebrity or a creator, because that fandom is so deep that they will engage almost with anything that, you know, is authentic, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because we are actually doing a study right now. We're digging into that data to see exactly how many times more engagement and efficient is it to partner with an athlete versus partnering with an influencer or creator.
That, like, diehard Michael Jordan fan in the 90s, and I hated Wheaties, but I still made my mom buy them, and I poured sugar on them. Buy Frosted Flakes. Well, no, Jordan, and I wanted Hanes underwear, and like all this. And think about that on a social metric too. There's more ability for brands to show up, and the fans are just obsessed with anything that they're excited about.
An athlete's Chipotle order.
Yeah.
Oh, this is this person's Chipotle order. I need to try that.
I remember
bowl.
The Rock had a recipe for rock bottom pancakes, and I was like, it was the first thing I ever made in the kitchen. So I always look back. I think we forget that as marketers, is we are all fans. We all used to be super fans when we were younger, most likely.
Yeah.
And like, think about how obsessed in the fandom that just runs deep. And I say this all the time when it comes to social, especially when it comes to buzzer beaters or big moments. You get goosebumps every time you see it. They can't see enough of it.
Right.
But I think sports teams or even athletes like, oh, I've already talked about that. Like, no, you can't talk enough about your greatest hits. No different than a Taylor Swift song on a radio station.
And it's fun because we see brands start to memorialize these moments in a way that's so cool, with Saquon's you know, backwards
then Madden's
flip,
like, let's
and
do it.
It's now on the cover of Madden, and Amon-Ra's headstand is now in the game as well. And so it's really cool to see players kind of embrace their personalities. And as you mentioned, the highlights are everywhere. They live on social for that short period of time, but brands are now jumping in to memorialize those moments. And I think that also helps with the feeling of nostalgia and that feeling of remember when that happened, or remember that moment. I can tell you exactly where I was when that buzzer
it takes you back
happened.
to an emotion, which is like the most intimate thing you could do with somebody, right? I'm curious because we worked a little bit with Netflix on Receiver, and thought it was incredibly done. It's just like quarterback, receiver, whatever the next one may be. For like,
I'm waiting for the lineman one.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I think they made a joke like Netflix's mascots, like they're gonna do a mascot one. But I'm curious, like you see what F1 did and saw the skyrocket of that sport. And then I feel like if you're a league right now or you're a PA that's not involved in that type of storytelling, you're like falling behind.
Yeah.
So how have you guys looked at it from a PA perspective on those storytelling docu-style stories that are just like giving you, really pulling the curtain back, even more so than social?
Yeah.
Did you know I have a newsletter? Yes, every month I drop insights, best practices, resources, some of the top content performing on social media. If you're interested in signing up, it's stndigital.com/DB. That's stndigital.com/DB. Join the newsletter and get all the value. Now back to the show.
We've hosted, this past March was our third year of doing a golf tournament, and the past 2 years we did it in Mexico, and it's because obviously NFL players, avid golfers, especially in the off season, and we brought down 72 players and their families for a weekend-long golf experience, but we broadcasted that on the Golf Channel this year, and it was really cool because we were kind of taking bets at the beginning of it on whether or not we thought players were going to really lean into the competitiveness.
And can you monetize against that too? Like that's now IP. That's amazing.
100%.
And you can split that with the NFL players, especially retired, that are looking for more revenue streams. Yeah,
right. But we were debating, are they going to go the competitive route and try to, really lean into the seriousness, or are they just going to have fun because they're on a golf course?
Yeah.
And most of them just had fun because they were on the golf course.
Yeah.
And I think to that point, that's one of those moments where now everyone gets to see them just hanging out. And I think my favorite part about it was there was a couple teams that weren't already in foursomes before the tournament happened and may or may not have known each other, may have played against each other or not. But by the end of the weekend, they were like, we're all best friends now.
Yeah.
With the group chat we're all, this is all leaving the group chat because we're now going on vacations together. And so it's those authentic connections for us that we can create that then we can also happen to monetize as well.
I'm curious your perspective on this as a marketer, because like it's been the cliche to say football players have helmets on, so they're not as, I guess, reachable in terms of just like knowing exactly what they look like NBA players, especially as you can sit courtside. It's a little bit of a different sport that way.
Yeah.
And someone like an Aaron Donald, who is like one of the best ever, maybe some people wouldn't recognize him like out on the street.
Yeah.
How have you guys, battled is the wrong word, but just like, how do you look at that from a marketing perspective on likability when their actual television product is a little harder to see that smile or see that grin?
It's actually interesting that you say that because we brought the same Brown brothers out to our rookie premiere, and they were doing their podcast, interviewing some of the rookies. And I think it was Cam Scatabo who said when he scores a touchdown, he always takes his helmet off. And
do they get fined for that? I thought they used to.
I think outside the end zone. It's like, don't do it in the end zone.
But NFLPA says, please don't do it.
Please don't quote us on this. But any moment to that end that you can have your helmet off and you can show your face.
If I'm an NFL player's agent, it's like anytime you can take that thing off.
Yeah. And I think now we've seen a lot of leaning into the tunnel walks and leaning into the fashion.
And social is a distribution outlet where it's off.
The change in that has been also hilarious because I started my career with the Colts, and I can remember away games. Everyone was in a suit and tie. And the photographer would go out and take some pictures. And I remember everyone being like, why are we taking pictures of guys in suits walking to the plane? Like, why would we do that?
Yeah.
And now the evolution of that is that's the moment.
Huge.
And we were just listening to Unrivaled talking about how they've got the Sephora tunnel now for their tunnel walks. And I think that's kind of the next place that we're going for that personality moment.
I'm curious because like I've been kind of joking around. Like I think at Gondola too, we joked about this, that we kind of feel like the OGs because we started like the Colts, right? Like you're like begging your boss, like we promise this TikTok thing is real.
Yeah.
But now I feel like we're moving to a different generation where now not only millennials but Gen Z has grown up on it now.
Yeah.
Some of the old heads are retiring out, and people like you and I are like making decisions that we know work. I'm just curious, like what are the common themes that you're just hearing in this space, and where do you see social continuing to grow? Because you have like great expertise in where it was and where it's going.
Yeah, I think that brands are really leaning into the authenticity aspect, and it's having those natural, kind of like I mentioned earlier, those natural connections to what are athletes doing that we can now be a part of, and it's almost taking it out of social and into other experiences. So I was even thinking the other day, like, here at Sport Beach, we've got Mo Farah doing runs with, people in the morning. And that is where I kind of see it going, where you can connect with somebody on social, but then if you have that chance to connect with them in real life and bring athletes into the community, I think that's where we now will start to see more of those connections. We kind of see it a little bit with, if you win something or you do a giveaway and now you get to go experience a meet and greet, or you get to go sit courtside with somebody, or things like that. I think we're leaning a little bit more in that.
Brands, like I think athletes in general don't understand that. Again, back when I was growing up, I'm 38, but I'd have to handwrite a fan letter to Jordan or Kobe to hopefully get a picture back or a signed autograph. And now if you comment on your favorite athletes, Instagram, just one heart can like make a fan for life.
Right.
Oh my God, like, whoever, Tom Brady or like whoever just like liked my comment. Do athletes understand that? Like when you talk to them and like train them on best practices, like literally if you spent 5 minutes and heart 20 20 comments,
Yeah.
like how much I could just give a fan for life.
I think some of them do, and it
Yeah.
really depends. And it's obviously, it goes to the comfortability. Some players are more comfortable in that space than others, and some recognize the brand deals and the money it brings in.
Yeah.
But others, I mean, we host a streamer bowl during Super Bowl
Yeah.
with Twitch,
Yeah.
and that's a really cool example of bringing a community member in with a pro streamer with a player, because guys are on Twitch, they're playing video games or whatever, and that is one of those places
they
where
feel more comfortable with that than being a creator.
they're doing something that they like, and then they are also chatting with people while they're
Yeah.
doing it, and so bringing a fan into that element. Austin Eckler has done a really, really great job at leveraging that connection with fans, and he's built a whole platform around connecting with fans, and I think that's a plus example of where it could go.
So, final question for you. Like, let's just name a random brand. I'm Gillette. And I come to you and I'm like, I want to be super authentic. I want to show up in the right way in the NFL. What immediately are you saying, or what comes to mind for big brand, wants to show up authentically? What are we doing?
Put me on the spot here. Come up with some ideas.
Or what's your like elevator pitch of like, well, first and foremost, make sure you don't do that, but let's lean into this.
Yeah, I think for brands, it's really about embracing something that is unexpected. So if your brand is always doing the same thing, or you're always utilizing your influencers in the same way, think of it differently.
I don't know if it was Gillette, but I think they were the ones that Anthony Davis pretended that he shaved his unibrow, and it was like one of those stunts.
Yes.
Michael Strahan with like, I got my teeth fixed, they're all now straight, I don't have a
Yeah.
gap anymore. But those are the type of things you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this
State
makes
Farm
total
does a
sense.
great job where you're taking
Love
people
State Farm.
out of their element
Yes.
and you're putting them into an unexpected
Well, their
space.
recent Caitlin Clark spot too. It's like from the logo. That's like lexicon that is used in the league.
Right.
She's known for pulling up from 35 feet.
Right.
So then, if you make fun of it and you're entering into the culture, it's such a great way to like, okay, I appreciate what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Ha ha he he. Good job, State Farm. We now like tip your hat to us.
Yeah,
You know, so.
and us as marketers, we're always coming up with these out-of-the-box ideas, but then we've got to present them, and we've got to get leadership's buy-in.
Yes.
So I think, if anything, I would just encourage the brands to be more open and to be more willing to
Yeah.
step outside of the box and do something
I
different.
love it. Well, if you learned anything from this show, hit up the NFLPA, man. They're going to help you. They're going to be they're going to lead you to success. They know the data. They know the people.
Yes.
They know the athletes. So.
Yeah, power
But-
of the players for sure.
Yeah, but thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thanks.